on this major topic of immigration, President Trump weighing in on the Supreme Court's role in immigration as his agenda continues to face legal hurdles.
They don't want us to do what we're supposed to do, and I don't think that can be. I hope the Supreme Court is going to fully understand what's going on. We have to get the criminals out of our country, and that's the basis under which we won the election.
A former federal prosecutor and trial attorney, Andrea Lewis, joins me now. And Andrea, let's go to the end of this book. Does the ultimate success of Trump's illegal immigration crackdown hinge on that case that is going to be heard before the Supreme Court in about 2 weeks? It's the birthright citizenship case, but the overarching ramifications of it are much greater because this case could decide whether or not these rogue district court judges can override Donald Trump's agenda. Do you think that that case will decide immigration the next 4 years once and for all?
Good morning, Todd. Thank you very much for having me. Well, as you just noted, I mean, this case unquestionably will have a significant impact on the various immigration issues that the Trump administration is taking on moving forward. As you just heard Trump note in his that video that you showed, this was really one of the keys of his platform, and American people largely supported it. Now, as we can see, he is getting frustrated because he's run into some roadblocks, and there may be ways for him to get around that. But as you noted, I mean, I think that what happens here in the next few weeks is really going to be determinative to some degree on this issue, on moving forward in the next few years.
May 15th is the date. It is a big one. I would argue one of the biggest cases before the Supreme Court in decades. Meantime, a federal judge ordering release of Columbia University student Moshe Madawi, who is facing a deportation order. Here's what he said as soon as he was released.
And I am saying it clear and loud.
Yes.
To President Trump and his cabinet.
Yes.
I am not afraid of you.
So, Andrea, what comes next? Will the Trump administration ultimately succeed in deporting him?
Well, Todd, so what we have here, I mean, obviously there was a little bit of a setback for the administration itself with the recent court ruling on the habeas issue. But that being said, that doesn't have any effect on the case itself proceeding forward. There is still an open immigration case happening. The immigration judge is still going to be ruling on this. And as we know, the Trump administration has had some success using this immigration law that it is and the principles that these activists, these pro-Palestinian activists, are in some way undermining the foreign policy issues that the president is largely supporting. So time will tell, but this case is far from over.
And again, to be clear, what you're referring to is the ability of the Secretary of State, in this case Marco Rubio, to say this individual who is not an American citizen is undermining our foreign policy and our national security. So I, as the Secretary of State, can order him removed. And I think that's going to be interesting to see what happens legally going forward with that, because if Senator Marco Rubio, now Secretary of State, gets that power and retains that power, that could be huge for this administration. Finally, the Supreme Court hearing a major religious liberty case, with the High Court seeming open to a religious charter school in Oklahoma. But, Andrea, that doesn't mean every justice is on board. Watch this.
You can't treat religious people and religious institutions and religious speech as second class in the United States.
The essence of the Establishment Clause was, we're not going to pay religious leaders to teach their religion.
Okay, so if you go off of oral arguments, which was yesterday, it looks like this is headed for a 4-4 split. Amy Coney Barrett is not participating in this case. So if that happens, what does this mean for the future of this concept of a religious charter school?
Well, it's really interesting because there is a long line of precedent on this. And we obviously have, for as long as I can remember, a clear divide where you don't mix church and state. And so what we have here, just the fact that the Supreme Court is open to entertaining this is a huge, huge change from the way that this issue has been presented in the past. So even if this doesn't pass through, if there is a split. That does not mean that this issue is not going to continue to come up, because in the past, we've never had a Supreme Court that's even open to this concept. So this marks a very, very significant change in that regard.
And it could redefine ultimately what the First Amendment means and how far the First Amendment extends. Another fascinating case to watch. Andrea, thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Carly.
Thank you, Todd.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.